Hi guys! So today we are going to talk about sales. So, oh goodness, my dog's going to get all kinds of crazy jealous if I don't let her over here. Okay, so this particular lesson is meant to be an interactive experience. It's going to be our first time doing something like this. We are going to try. I've not done it before, so if I mess up, let me know. Hey, Nikki. I'm hoping I can remember how to bring you in. I think I just click on the invite button when I do that. Is that right? So we're gonna do this interactive training. It's going to be way fun. This is going to be new. Hopefully it goes over really well for everybody. If it does, we might start to do a little bit more of these. Sorry for Dottie. She's going to be like really annoying. But while I'm waiting for everybody to get on, I thought it might be a good idea to just go over kind of a checklist of everything that you need to demo. So that's really what this is all about. It's about demoing product. So you can either demo it when you're walking around with your, I'm going to get my bag and show you guys. When you're walking around with your bag, you can demo it when you're walking around with stripes on. You can demo it when you have a friend or a couple friends over. You can demo it at a lunch. You can demo it at a lip and sip. Bigger than that, you can demo it at a party. So either your own launch party if you haven't had one yet, or you can demo it at a friend's party, that like somebody that's being a hostess for you, or you can demo at a vendor event. So there's many different ways to demo the product. But it all boils down to like the same conversations. Some of the items that you will need for each of those events will be a little bit different. So based on how big the event is. So that's what I wanted to kind of cover first while I'm letting everybody catch up and get on live with us. So if you missed the beginning portion of this, and we'll try and catch everybody up, rewind it, or you can't rewind it, but rewatch it from the beginning, so that you can see kind of the checklist that I want to go over with you. So I know we have a lot of new girls on the team, and I want our new girls to really know everything that they need to have so that they feel prepared for a vendor event or a party, a launch party, or whatever you're doing to demo. So hopefully my dogs, I'm going to have to kick my dogs out of the room. Excuse me. I will be right back. Come here, puppies. Get out of the room. You guys are nuts. Stay. I'm back! Did you miss me? Okay. Sorry. Sorry if any of you guys hopped on while I was not there. The dogs were going to start like a crazy war on my couch, and it would have been really distracting. Okay, so checklist. So I wanted to go over everything you need. So this, if you've never done any kind of a launch party or a demo, you want to get out your clipboard or your notebook and your pen and paper now and write down these things, because these are the things that you're going to need to get started. So first and foremost, the things that you have to have are testers. So I'm going to take my phone and walk around my room and show you how I use things and what sort of things I use, but you do not have to do them the same way I do. There are so many different ways to do it, and there's so many different ideas, but I'm a visual person and I need to see things, so I'm hoping that for you guys, it will be helpful for you all to see some of these things also. So hold on. Okay, so I have this cute little display, this little lips display that I had made from one of the girls in our team, Nancy. Her husband makes these. So if anybody's interested in these, there is a girl on our team named Nancy Jones, and her husband makes these. I think I don't want to quote them if I'm wrong. I think they were $25. I can't remember for sure. But message her if you want that. So this is the way I display my testers currently. I have had several different ways, and especially in the beginning when you first start out and you don't have every color, you don't necessarily want or need this because you don't want to have a bunch of empty holes. So in the beginning, there are smaller, like little lip things that I've seen. And there's two different groups that you can buy these things on that I recommend looking at. One is called Senegence Buy and Sell. If you haven't been added to that, you can ask your upline and they can add you to that group. And then also another great place to look for support kind of materials for us as distributors is Etsy. So you could always search like Lipsense tester display, and you'll find a bunch of ideas and things. Okay, so that is one option. Here's a really easy option that I did when I first started with something like this. Okay, and I actually lucked into this. What's funny, if you look really close, is this is Mary Kay. Right, but nobody knows that because it's just clear. But I lucked into this at Goodwill, and I was like so happy when I first started because I'm like, oh look, I feel so professional. I have something to like display my colors in, so that I used that for like my first couple parties, thinking I looked all kinds of cool. But you can get these for really cheap on Amazon. I've since figured out they're not that hard to find, and they're not very expensive. So you can search like acrylic lip gloss display and find things like that. So this is a great way, especially if you just have a limited number of colors, to start out. And you can pick, it's really smart to pick really basic colors from each color family. If you need help with that, you can message me, or you can go to your upline and ask them. But I would recommend, picking one red, like 1 or 2 pinks, 1 or 2 berries. The point is you want to get to every color family. So you want to have at least 1 red, 1 pink, 1 berry, 1 coral, 1 nude. Okay, and then you can maybe have a couple other colors in there that you think that you hear are really popular, that sell really well. Then another idea is to put some sort of tester sticker on it to identify it as a tester. If you don't do this, then you're going to get confused and your customers are going to get confused. I put a sticker down here and a sticker right here because depending on if it's in my lip display, it'll show this way, or if it's here, it'll show this way. But that is one, it's really important because otherwise you're going to have people accidentally cracking open your stock. So that's the first thing you need to have is your testers. So that's really, really important. The next thing you need to have, I have this little holder. I actually got this, I think, just at Walmart. But you will need to have these little tester wands. So if you don't know about these, you can order these from Senegence. So these are the ones that come from Senegence. They actually have like this little holder on the top of them. Or the ones that you just get from Amazon are just plain on the top. Both are fine. You could actually get these for much cheaper and bigger quantities on Amazon. So you could just search Lipsense tester applicator wands and you'll find those. If anybody has links, feel free to post those in the comments as we go so that our girls can find links for these things. But just once you learn to search for what words to search for, you'll find everything, I promise. You will want to have cotton rounds, and you'll want to have some sort of makeup remover. So I use this one. You do not have to use this one. I know a lot of people use Almay wipes. This one, I chose one that specifically said even waterproof makeup because I knew, even by looking at it, that it's got oils in it. And that's how our Foops works too. The oils break down our product better. So I chose an oil-proof remover to use. You could bring just regular Foops, which is what we sell. I bring this because I don't like to waste my precious gold, and this is way cheaper. But if you really want to showcase our product, you can use Foops. I will bring a couple of Oops removers to show how those work. They start to get pretty funky, though, which it will happen, but it's because I use this on their hands, not on their lips. So when they get like a bunch of stuff all over their hands from swabbing colors, they want something to wipe it clean with. So I'll take that and rub it all over their hands to show them how the Oops works. And then I usually bring like a washcloth, and I will show them how to like scrub. I can't do this while I'm holding my phone, but scrub, the color off. I put the Oops on and then I scrub it off with that. So an optional thing is these glossy packs. These are nice to have for sample packs. You can get several uses out of each one. You just open it up and then squirt a little. So I do this 2 ways. Sometimes I will squirt a little bit on their finger and just tell them to seal their color with it by rubbing it on with their finger, or sometimes I will squirt it on one of the tester wands for them. If you don't have these packs, if they're out of stock, or if you just don't have them, you can use your regular glossy tube, but you'll need to, of course, use a tester wand with that. So you'll need to have your testers, your glossy, your cotton rounds, your makeup remover, And then you're going to want to have some sort of direction cards. So I have this file available to our team where you can just have these made and printed on Vistaprint or wherever you order your business cards. They're ready to go. It's got tips and tricks on one side and then how to apply Lipsense on the other side. So if you need access to those, I can send those to you, or you can just ask your upline and they should be able to send those to you. They should have them. Anybody who doesn't, just let me know. But there are several things like that out there. There are other designs. This is just one that I liked and I went with. You'll also want to have your own business cards. So if you haven't, okay, Nancy, I will get you one. So you'll want to design your own business cards. Not hard to do. There's so many websites out there now that will help you. Think about whatever your name is and what kind of branding you want. So for me, I had to start thinking about, like in the beginning, I didn't think too hard. I just did it. So I'll show you my first ones. I think there's some in here. Maybe not. So I didn't think incredibly hard on my first one. So this is an old one, but it's all scuffed up on the top. But this was the one I did first. And this is just an image I found on Vistaprint that was like copyright free or trademark free. Oops. Hi. So that I just put my name on it, put hair and makeup artist, I put my distributor ID number. So you want to think about these things when you're designing them. I put my Gmail, I put a phone number to reach me, and on the back I did this to give people an idea of, or to give people a sense of loyalty. So if they buy, you know, any lip or shadow color, they get a sticker or a stamp, depending on what I have, or a punch. I have a punch that I use too. Some way, if I forget any of those, I'll just initial it. But once they fill that up, then they get a free gloss of their choice, and I'll make it either, it can be a glitter gloss or anything, a specialty gloss. It doesn't have to be a glossy. But with this one, I didn't do that on the back because I had somebody design these for me, and I liked them just the way they were. So it has my information on the back again. What I was missing on my first card, and that's why it's important to make sure you've got everything. What I was missing on my first card was my Facebook page. I didn't, even though it says theeverlastinglip@gmail.com, it doesn't say where to find my Facebook group or anything. So I always have to explain that to people, and I hated that. So I made sure that this one shows where to find me on Instagram, where to find me on Facebook, and my Gmail and my phone number, and I still have my Lipsense distributor ID number on there. And then what I just do for my customers then is I bought this cute little lips punch, and I will just punch holes around the top of it to keep up with the loyalty program. Okay, so that's not something you have to do. You do not have to do a loyalty program. I just chose to. It's optional. But you do need to have a business card. You do need to have an instruction and tips and tricks card. There is a couple different ways. Let me switch back over here. There are different methods of doing that. They don't, like I said, they don't all have to be just like mine. There's also a brochure that's like a trifold. I don't think I have one here, but I can also send you guys that file. But it's a trifold where it has like everything about Lipsense, and then on the back there's like your information, and there's tips and tricks and application and everything all in one. So if you say didn't have time to get your business cards printed and we're having like a party tonight and you just started, that file is something that you can print up, modify, put your information on the back, and then just print yourself and fold and make like 10 of those for how many ever people are going to be at the party that you're going to, and you can have those ready to go and drop those in people's bags. So that's something you would want to do if you forgot to do, or if you just haven't had time to do your cards and you're having a party right away. Another thing, let me look at my checklist. What else do you need? Okay, so some optional things are these tattoo rings. Okay, so I've recently started using them, love them, but I know other people who don't, so it's totally up to you. So typically how we demo is we give the customer a tester bottle and then 3 tester wands. And they dip it, sorry, I'm trying to do this while I'm holding it. And then we dip it, show them how to dip it, put on one layer, then we dip the second one, put on layer 2, then we dip the third one, put on layer 3 to make sure that they don't double dip. But for me, I felt like that was a lot to manage, and sometimes, like especially when I have multiple people going on and I'm handing them their bottle and stuff, I'm not watching them, so I'm always afraid that they might be double dipping. Or I've also had several times where the customer will hold the bottle in one hand and kind of hold it upside down, and then the bottle spills either on their clothes, which is a big catastrophe, but it also is like your product that you're losing. So I don't like that either. So what I like is these rings. Let me see if I can. You do not, like I said, everybody kind of, as you demo and the more things you do, the more times you demo, you're going to figure out what you like. And that's the biggest thing. Like, this isn't my way or the highway kind of thing. This is just me giving you guys some tips and tricks from things that I have learned and that I prefer. But I know other people that have done just as many shows as me that say, oh, I don't like those. And that's, like I said, it's what you prefer. So you can order these for hella cheap on Facebook, or not on Facebook, on Amazon. Search plastic tattoo ink rings to find those. I think I got like 500 for like $5. So they're super cheap. What I like about them is that you only need to do one wand and one ring. And then what I do is I get to control the bottle. So I pick up the bottle and I just swatch the product in there. And the person that I talked to that didn't like using these, the reason why she didn't like using them is because she felt like you still might have some cross-contamination issues if you don't get enough product in there. And then you have to go back and put more on after she's used her wand and put it in here, I guess, like because you're touching the ring with this. But so for me, that's why I think it's important that you can just get as much in the ring as possible. I don't want to waste any more of my product because I'm not using this. But you want to get as much, you figure out how much you need or how much your customers need to get their application of the 3 layers, and then you'll kind of just know how much to fill up in their ring. If they need reapplied, I still have this side of the ring that I haven't even used yet that I can wipe against. So if they're like, I'm all out, I could just wipe again on that side, and I'm not worried about it. I feel like I like it better. Again, personal preference. So then you would just hand them the wand, and you would, so 2 things you can do when you're demoing. You can do it for them, or you can ask them to, and then you just put a mirror in front of their face and tell them how to do it, okay? But I'm just gonna swatch this on my hand so I don't waste this product. But before I jump ahead, let me kind of walk you through how you do that. So when they walk up, you're gonna need to hand out, once they decide that they want to try it on, then you're gonna need to hand them a cotton round and the makeup remover, pour it on there, or it could just be makeup remover wipe that's already pre-moistened, whichever you prefer, and then tell them to rub off any lip product that they have. And then when they rub off that lip product, then you can hand them either the 3 wands and your tester, or the tattoo ink ring and 1 wand. So those are kind of your options, and then you can tell them how to do it, and just like say you have a table of 8 people, you're doing a private party, then you would just walk everybody through the directions. You could do it at the same time, or you could just tell them what to do. If you're like at a vendor event or just a private demo and they want you to do it for them, then you can sit with a tattoo ink ring on your finger and then you just apply it for them. I think it's important to teach, I keep leaning over, to teach the customer how to, because a lot of customers will ask you, how do you line, how do you line? I think it's really important that you teach them how to use these wands. So there's the angled portion, and the angled portion is for applying this way, but I always tell them to turn it around and use the pointed tip to do their line. And you just have to have a controlled hand and use that and turn it and use that for your line. So I kind of try to show them that at first, because otherwise people get real clumsy with the fat part and they're like and messing it up. So make sure you explain it as well as you can in the beginning, and then you'll have less issues. There was another optional thing on my list that I was going to tell you about. Okay, the other optional thing was, so for removal, like we talked about, like once they get all over their hands, some customers will leave with like 10 or 20 colors on their hands. I personally, especially if they don't buy, want them to leave with that on their hand, because I'm like, hey, I want you to see how long that lasts. Like, wash your hands, eat, drink, go about your day, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, and see how long that lasts. And then you'll see the lasting power of our makeup, and you give me a call when it doesn't come off. So especially like to leave it on them if they don't buy. And I have also, on top of business cards, I am a hot mess. I have designed these marketing cards that I like to hand out to people. These are for like when I don't have a lot of time to talk to people and tell them about the product, or so like if I'm in a grocery store, I like to hand them these because it basically tells everything about the product. It says, does this drive you crazy? And it shows like all the things that we hate about lipstick, and then it says that, you know, then you need Lipsense in your life. It talks about it being 4 times as much as as a regular lipstick. And then on the back, I have that same information as I do on my cards. But it's just a 4x6 postcard, which I had printed for Vistaprint. I like this for multiple reasons. One, because I can just hand it to people in the store, or especially if I see a girl like all glammed up with makeup, I'm like, ooh, I can tell you like makeup, take this, give me a call. You know, it can be really fast, and I can shove it at them and not have to be like, have you heard about Lipsense in the middle of the grocery store if they're like in a hurry or something, right? It's a nice way to just sneak it in on people. But also at vendor shows, I kind of like them to take the bigger card because I feel like there's a greater chance of them losing the little business cards. The little business cards I usually put in their packet when they buy, but if they don't buy, I give them this because I think they have a better chance of not losing this. It's just bigger, and I'm hoping that it's not going to fall out of their pocket or something, that they'll actually put it in their purse and not lose it. So there's one more optional thing. So I have another girl, this is also optional on your checklist. I have another girl that swears by alcohol swabs. So like the alcohol swabs that you can buy for like a first aid kit, that just a little tear pulls out the thing with the alcohol swab. Apparently that gets it right off of your hand. So she likes to use that to remove for her hand. I think she even said she removes her lips that way, but I would not recommend that. And I know she's on here. But I can see, because sometimes like when I'm removing from their hands, I'm putting on the oops remover and then we're like scrubbing to get it off when they want to get it off, because some people are insistent. They're like, no, get this off my hand now, right? So I'm like, okay, because I'm trying to get them to leave with it. But if they really want off their hand, or especially if they've made a purchase, then I'll take the oops remover, rub it all over their hand, and then I'll do that. It does take a little bit longer than apparently it would with an alcohol wipe, but one thing I do like about that is that they see how hard it is to get off. So some of them will be like, oh wow, this really is hard to get off. You hand them the washcloth, let them scrub, and they're like, holy, this stays on. So it's kind of impressive that way. But then some people are like, well, this doesn't work that good. But the point that you need to make is that, and I like to make that point, is that, well, we just put this on you, and Lipsense is meant to last like 4 to 18 hours. So it's going to come off of you a lot easier, like at the end of the day. Like if you've been wearing it 4 to maybe 8 hours, then it's going to come off a lot easier. But you just put it on, so it literally just formed a bond with your skin. So it doesn't want to go anywhere. It's doing its job. That's what it was designed to do. So I kind of like that because it proves the staying power. Like they don't have any other makeup that they have to scrub off and put more stuff on. But if you're for whatever reason in a hurry, or if you just have like a cranky chick that you want to get out of there, maybe it wouldn't hurt to have a couple alcohol swabs to just like hurry and hand them that and be like, here you go. All things to think about, okay? Then you want to have, okay, so that's like for everybody, like for any kind of demo, you'll need those things. Now, if you're doing a vendor show, like an event at like say a school or a church or a flea market or something like that, you're going to need a few more things. So let's go over that list. You are going to need, where'd my pen go? Because I want to take notes if anybody has questions. So if you have questions, let me know, and I'm going to pull you guys in. We're going to do some interactive kind of role play stuff here in a minute. But just while I was waiting for everybody to get on, I wanted to kind of cover a checklist of everything you need to demo first and foremost for people working events. And this is really a lot for girls that are out of state that can't work an event right with me, because a lot of the local girls know that they can work events with me and I'll kind of side by side train them. But if you're not here, I can't do that. So this is the best way I can do that for you guys. Another thing that you need to have, I forgot 2 things that you absolutely have to have. You have to have some sort of bag to bag up your product. The organza bags are the most popular. Most girls use these, and you just bag up a color, a glossy, and an oops in there. And then I usually drop a candy in there, and then the tip and tricks. The reason why I like the tip and tricks cards on the business print size is because I know it fits in there perfectly. And then my business card and a candy, and I close it up, and they're good to go. Okay, and these are way cheap, and we get those on Amazon also, so you can search organza bags. You can pick just one color if you want to get like red or whatever color that you want to use in your branding, or purple or black. The first time I got like a rainbow assortment until I could decide what I wanted. Like my branding now is black, red, and gold, so I try to stick to those colors. But it's up to you how you want to do it. Some people like pink, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's one option. Another option is like kind of a fancier bag that are like, I found these that I like a lot too. And I just will put the product in there and then fold it over and hand it to them like that. So that's another option. I mean, you guys can do this how you want to do it. I do think packaging is important. I think, and the little candy is just a nice touch. Some people will throw in, let me see if I have some here. Okay, some people will throw in these are optional things too. A little lip scrub, which you can make yourself. This one is coconut lime, and it's just, you can look up recipes for easy lip scrubs. This one doesn't have a ton in there, but it's just sugar, coconut oil, and then whatever essential oil flavor. Make sure it's an edible essential oil flavoring that you put in there. So you can do vanilla peppermint, coconut lime, lemon. There's all different kinds of ones you can make, and you just recommend to people, especially in the beginning, that if they put that on at night and then get a washcloth and scrub that off, that will get the dead skin off faster. And then I always recommend that they sleep in their gloss. So you're going to exfoliate, sleep in your gloss so it hydrates your lips, and then the next day I tell them to scrub again just with a dry washcloth to make sure there's no leftover gloss or goop on their lips, and then apply. So that's the way I kind of school everybody, all of my customers, and I don't have any problems with customers as far as application I wear because of that. If you're doing like a lip and sip, so this is a different kind of event, and we just had one today, and so for those of you guys who don't know what a lip and sip is, or I think this would also probably apply to a personal party. If you're having a lunch party or your friend is hosting a party for you, then you'll want to bring little goodie bags like this. So a little gift bag. And in this, it doesn't have to be a lot, but it's something to thank people for coming specifically for you. Like they came to your event, your lip and sip, you had a lip and sip at a restaurant. What you can do is just call restaurants. I call around, find restaurants that have like a party room or a private corner that they don't mind us using, and let them know that we'll be ordering food or whatever, or drinks, but can we use that corner or that private room? And I only use ones that don't charge. Some places will charge for their party room, some places won't. Some places have a minimum, some places don't. I look for no minimum and no charge because I don't want to worry about that. And then I just make sure that I tip the waitress really well. I usually cover, for lip and sips, I usually cover everybody's drink. And then I just let them know, like, I got your first drink covered, or if it's a fancy restaurant, I might buy a bottle of wine or two. But from like today, I just said, hey, I got everybody's drinks, and told the waiter that, and then they just get their food and appetizers, okay? So that's what I did, but you can choose how you want to do that. But then you have this little, because whether you're at home, like at a home party, or you're at a restaurant, you're going to have to provide some sort of snacks or drinks, right? So even if you're doing it at your home, you'd have to provide like a punch or wine or coffee or whatever it is that you're providing. And then a lot of times people will provide finger foods. So either way, the money's going to go out. So I just, at the restaurant, offer their drinks to give them that. This is something that we put in a lot of our gift bags. It's these little blingy mirrors. We get these at Michael's. I don't know, our customers might be getting sick of these because we use them so much, but they're all new people so far, I think, so it's been fine. But if it gets to the point that they're like repeats, like at my lip and sips, I might need to start finding other ideas and gifts. But this is, there's multiple colors you can get: pinks, reds, blacks, blues, whatever. And then it just has the little compact mirror. And I put that in the bag. So you can put whatever, like I said, you can put whatever you want. A lot of people will put like Dove chocolates or like those yummy truffles. What is the brand? Lint. I often will put these, some kind of samples from the company to hope that maybe that'll bring a future sale. So if you can get your hands on skincare samples, do that. If you can get these perfume sample cards, I put those in there. Anything that they can try that might make them come back later and buy a different product. And then this is another thing that I had ordered from somebody that makes they're called glossy keepers, because you can tuck a gloss down in there and then like attach it to your keychain so that they don't lose their gloss. So whatever, you can pick and choose whatever you want to give to your customers, but you don't want to spend more than a couple bucks on it and just make it cute. I mean, even at the dollar store, you can buy cute manicure sets. You can buy little mini candles. There's a lot of things you can buy. Stick in the bag for like $1 or $2. You know, put that little gift in there and some candy and then some samples, and you're good. Okay. Another thing you're going to want to have that I forgot to mention is mirrors. This one looks way dirty with the light reflection on it. Anyways, so you can do like a cute mirror like this little pearl one, or you can just do a standard mirror. My mirrors look so dirty because of the reflection. They don't normally look this dirty, I promise. But do make sure they're clean. Because when I do a vendor event and I see them like that, I'm always like, with my shirt, because I think it looks bad when they're really dirty. So find a couple mirrors for parties and events and set those at the table. If you have, if you're doing a vendor event, the other things that you will need pictures. So I have like 8x10 pictures. Let me show you which ones I bring. You can do whatever pictures you want, but something that showcases the product well. I have this picture. See, these are Velcroed to my wall, and I just take them off before I have a show. I have that picture, and then I have this picture, and it has the price on it. I think it's important to have one pricing sign, so people, you know, aren't always having to ask. They've got the pricing sign. So those two pictures, I'll put those on like easels on the table. So I'll have one on one side, one on the other side. So that, and then what else was I going to show you guys? This chair is like a makeup chair. It folds up, but it also works good for when your feet are sore for you to sit down. Even though I don't recommend sitting down at shows, because the more you're moving, the more people will come to you, and the more you're standing up, the more people are reaching out to you. So stock bins. I like these. I got these at Target, but you can find anything that you can store your product in to display it. So like we talked about the clear displays and stuff for the testers. This is the stock. So this is the stuff that I don't want them cracking open. So I usually will keep this back behind. So my testers are out front. I usually keep these back behind or a little bit out of reach where they can't just grab. Because if they're right up front, they're going to grab them and crack them open right away. They think that they're testers. It happens every time. I have this cute little display for my blackberries, and I took it to Gaslight Festival with me, and like 3 or 4 of them got cracked open. So you got to watch when you have display, stock stuff on display, that it's pulled back and not out front. There's all different kinds of display ideas. I use this one. It's a Pampered Chef utensil holder. I like that a lot for colors, and I put different colors in each compartment. And then, so that's one idea. Like I use this, I found little containers like this at Goodwill, and I love these, like little fancy containers. I put my lip balms in those. These are very popular. A lot of girls use these, especially in the beginning, because you don't have to have a ton of product. Like this one's already over full, but you don't have to have a ton of product in there for it to look good. You know what I mean? Like you could just, these are all volumizers, but you could just, have like 10 colors in there, and it will look good, and it won't look too empty. So if you've got these huge buckets and only 10 colors, it's going to look empty. You don't want to do that. You'll want to do something like this while you're first starting out, so that you just got something on display. So sometimes we'll get like a handful of these, and we'll have one for colors and one for glosses and oops. Also, these also serve really well as little trash cans. So if you have one of those, it's nice because everybody needs a trash can to throw their little wands in, and the glossy sample packs, or the sponges in. I mean, not the sponges, the cotton rounds. You're going to need a trash can. So just a little can like that works really well. What else? Let's see. That's my candies. I always throw Werther's in my bags. These like little pencil cups make good holders. I use this for my mascara, but you can use something like that. Just trying to give you guys some display ideas. Trying to think if there's something else. Oh. And then I keep my glossy and my oops in a separate bucket. And then when they pick their color, I just grab one of each and throw it in their thing. But these, again, like these, I use these for my testers. These, I think you can find these at the dollar store. I find them often at Goodwill also, and I buy them up when I see them. And I use them to display things. I use them for my makeup testers, stuff like that. So one more thing that is nice to have is a lookbook. I try to at least have a blonde and a brunette lookbook. If you can have a women of color lookbook, that's nice too. And then you basically, when you're helping somebody, or if you're at a party, you can pass them around. And then if somebody's like, a blonde, you'll want to kind of pass them the blonde lookbook. Or if you're at a vendor show and you're like, oh, you're helping somebody and somebody walks up, then you can say, here's a book with some different colors for you to look at. Why don't you go ahead and look at these and I'll be with you in just a minute. And that's a great way to get them busy, like looking at something where they're not going to wander and leave your table, but they still have something to do and something to look at, and they're not handling your colors, because I'm always worried about them handling my testers without me when I'm helping somebody else. So this is the brunette lookbook. We have these files available that we can send to you, and you can just print them out and put them in binders. These are just Walmart binders I found, and I found ones that have a cover, so I can just drop that down in the cover. But a lot of girls will also have their own printed, girls help me out here, those of you guys that have done that. I haven't done that yet, but have them printed, like, what books are they again? Are they like chat books or something? So some of those kind of books that you can have printed that looks like a book. A lot of girls will have their lookbooks printed like that. I just printed mine on glossy paper, put them in page protectors, put it in a 3-ring reminder, and I'm good to go. Like, that worked for me. So I've seen people put them in photo albums, print out like 4x6s and put them in photo albums. I've seen people order books, and those chat books, I think the first one is really cheap or maybe even free. I don't know. So look into those, but start like figuring out what you want for your displays for these. You want to be prepared. The other things you'll need for a vendor show is you'll need, some vendor shows will provide tables. You'll need to ask that question if they provide a table or if you need to. If they don't provide them, then you're going to need one. I have full size, like 6 and 8 foot tables, but they're full size, so they're a pain in the butt to load. But I know Cindy on our team has like the ones that fold in half and they have a handle, and I'm like jealous. So I might have to get those because those look a lot easier to load and unload. You will need a tablecloth, and you will probably need a banner if you're doing a vendor show. So you can do 2 different things with that. You can do the regular canvas banner, and then I would recommend, because my first one, it didn't have grommets, I would recommend making sure it has grommets, because then if you need to hang it from something, you can use a zip tie and hang it to whatever up high. Like so, like a canopy or something like that, you'll have to hang. At first, mine didn't have that, so I just had to use like duct tape and duct taped it to the front of my table, and it was like the front part of the table, and then I put the tablecloth on top and on the sides behind it. Does that make sense? But that's one option. And then another option is the vertical ones that stand up, that you pull up like a roller blind, and then it's got a stand, and it's a very tall display. What I like about that is you don't need anything else to hang it with or mount it. It's self-sufficient as far as that goes. You can order both of those off Vistaprint and multiple places. There are also people who will custom design them for you on Etsy. So if you feel like you don't know how to do it yourself or you're too intimidated to, then you could go to Etsy and search custom banners or custom vertical banners or Lipsense vertical banners. There's certain people that just design Lipsense ones. I found it pretty easy on Vistaprint. I used Vistaprint and I waited for a sale. So when they have like a 50% off sale, is a great time to do it, because then you get like a $200 banner for $100, you know. And then I just drag and dropped images. So you can drag and drop any of the Lipsense images that you love, and then you can add some custom text or whatever you want to do. It was really user friendly and it was fine. But if that's just too much for you and you just need a banner fast, there's a couple guys that people love. Okay. Jennifer says she brings Windex. You bring Windex for the mirrors? I guess that's for the mirrors, she's saying. I'm like into the whole Norwex right now, so maybe I'll bring my window cloths to get those fingerprints off. That would not be a bad idea. So you guys, as you're going, please comment in here of anything that you found that you love. If you have links, go ahead and put the links below so that others can find what we're talking about. What else? Oh, a contact sheet is not a bad idea to have. So if somebody's like, well, I'm going to think about it, there's a few things you do with that. You don't want to lose that customer. So I will immediately say, well, do you have Facebook? And they say, yeah, I have Facebook. And I say, oh, good. Well, why don't you join my group at least so you don't lose me? And then when you want to order, I'm here. Plus, I do a lot of giveaways and tutorials in there. So you might even win some free product, you know. And they're like, oh, okay, you know. And they'll usually just want to take my card, like I talked about. But I still am like, just because I know how people are, and I've walked around enough festivals and seen people's cards all over the ground to know that they get dropped, that I try to get them to join my group right then and there. So I'll say, well, do you have your phone? Why don't you pull your Facebook up? and I'll help you find my group, because sometimes it's hard to find. And that way, I'll just have them pull my Facebook, and if they're like, I'll say, like, to encourage them a little bit more, sometimes I will do a giveaway just for that festival. So I'll say, I'm doing a giveaway for a free blah, 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 insert whatever you want to do free there, okay? So right now I'm doing free makeovers, which I'm doing anyway, so that's great. But, so I love it if you can, I recommend, say, I'm doing a free beauty demo, or something like that. Then you're not giving away product, and then you're also getting somebody back in your chair, or you go to their house where you get to talk about product and show them product. So it's a great way to do it. But when they hand you your phone, then you pull up your page. This is why it's easier, because some people say, doesn't she have to be my friend first to add her to my group? You're not adding her to your group on your phone. She's requesting to join your group on her phone. So you ask her to hand you her phone, pull up Facebook, hand me your phone, I'll help you find my group. So as soon as she pulls up Facebook, I'm taking the phone from her, I'm typing in the everlasting lip. I'm like, okay, here I am. I see my page come up first, so I'll click the little thumbs up on the page, give me a like on the page, and then right underneath that I'll see my group, and I'll click on the plus sign to say add to group. Sometimes it'll make me click on the page itself, depending on the person's phone, and click request to join group. And then I say, okay, great, you're entered. So everybody who joins today, I'm going to do a drawing tomorrow, and somebody's going to win a free color, or somebody's going to win a free makeover, or somebody's going to win a free gloss, or whatever it is that I'm giving away. And that gives them incentive to let you add them to your group right then and there. And that way, even if they do lose your card, you've got them in your group, and hopefully you put enough entertaining and enticing material and content in your group that they will eventually want to buy. So the key is to get them added. If nothing else at those vendor events, even if you don't make a single sale, you better be adding people to your Facebook groups, because that is huge. But then I like to have like some sort of sheet like this. Host a party and join my team. So that way, if people are like, this is a great price rebuttal, don't think of vendor events as just a profit-making machine. Think of it as a recruiting tool also. So what I'll say is, if they say, that's too expensive, there's a couple of things you can do. You can give them the pricing breakdown, and I do recommend having a pricing comparison sheet that shows about how we have more product in our bottles, and how it's really, I explain to them, it's really like buying from Costco. It costs you a little bit more in the beginning, but we have more product in our bottles, and you're using it less because you're not reapplying it, so it's actually cheaper per milliliter. But I understand it's a little bit more upfront cost, but it's like buying the big Tide at Costco. That's how I always explain it, and most people get it, and then they're like, oh, okay. But if they still are like, yeah, but I just don't have $55 right now, I'm like, okay, what do you think about hosting a party? I can get you a free color if you want to host a party for me, and then you could also get discounted product. And then, or I'll say, there's two other options. You can do that, or you could sign up to join my team, and as soon as we can get your $55 when you joined, you can start buying the product at half price and make some money on top of that. So make sure you're making those options, and say, if you're interested in either one of those things, put your information here, join my team or host a party. And this is also a great reminder for you if you're having parties, like in people's homes, to offer the Senegence choice. And the Senegence choice is when you say, okay, like you've talked about the product, you've shown them the product, you've wowed them, and then you say, okay, there basically are three options that you can go with from here. One, you can be my customer, or if you're helping another girl launch, so-and-so's customer, you can be the customer, and we will provide you with excellent customer service and help you color match whatever colors you want, and just take good care of you from here. Two, you can be a hostess, and I can get you some free product. Sometimes we will have a basket, and you'll kind of pass the basket around and say, this is not it, but I'm just trying to use a visual. You can have little goodies in here, like better than the dollar store stuff, but a little bit better than that kind of stuff. Maybe more like $5 to $10 gifts. And you can say, if you're interested in hosting a party, I'm going to pass around a hostess basket, and if anybody would like to host a party, you can go ahead and pick something out of the basket just for signing up to host a party for me. And then you're also going to get a free color and a discount on product, depending on how big your party is. So that will help you get some party hostesses. The idea when you're doing parties is to always book at least 1 to 2 parties off of every party. And then you're constantly growing your market, you're growing your customer base, you're growing into the cold market, which is what your goal is, because if you're just relying on your warm market, you're never, ever, ever going to be successful. So that is everything that you need to have. Is there anything else I'm missing, guys, that you can think of? I want to make sure everybody knows one thing I did learn at the last event that I was at. If you're at an outdoor event, that's one thing we're going to talk about. A canopy is not a bad idea. And if you've got a local team, like girls local in your area, you guys can maybe share one. We do that a lot. Most people just borrow from me. But if not, it's not a bad idea to have one for other things. Like you can use it for camping and other stuff. But it's basically like a canopy tent. It's not really a tent. It's more of like just the top part. But you can buy sidewalls. And that's nice, especially if it's a multi-day event, because then you can kind of close it up. But what I learned at Gaslight Festival, which we just did last weekend, was that it was an outdoor event and then it was a nighttime event. And it got dark fast. And when it got dark, nobody saw us. So that was Friday night. So you better believe Saturday I came in with lights. So I bought can lights and we hooked those up in each corner. And those are just those like aluminum cans that you buy at Walmart. They're usually in the paint section. And you put a halogen light bulb in there and it just shines the place up. So I brought that. I brought extension cords and we got those zip tied in the corner and we were good to go. And that helped us. And then I also have ring lights, and I used the ring lights to put the makeup on with people to get, you know, them good lighting when we were putting it on them at nighttime. So those are things to think about if you're running an outdoor nighttime event. It can be real tricky if it's dark. And another thing you could think about doing is providing music. So you can bring like one of these little speakers and have like a just not huge loud blasting where you can't hear each other, but a little bit of music to kind of just keep the mood nice. You can do that. I've seen people do like little games to get people over to their tents or their things. Lipstick usually gets people over anyways, but I've seen a lot of the other vendors have like a spin the wheel to win a prize, and I thought, oh, that could be fun. But maybe we can make the prizes like a discount, you know, 10% off or a free something with a something dollar purchase or things like that. That's all just thoughts. Susan, Cassie, what's your take on printing brochures you designed? PMP talks about having stuff approved through Senegence before distributing it out. That I need to read up on then, Susan, a little bit. That you designed. Okay. I think the issue is more when you're using, I'm pretty sure, but correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the issue more when you're actually using their logos, Susan? Because if you're not using their logos, I don't think it's an issue. And when I've talked to Senegence before about like even websites and stuff, the biggest thing they said to me is that it's really important that, so if you have a concern about that at all, make sure on your brochures that it says that you're an independent distributor of Senegence. That was the biggest thing that she kept making a point to me when I was asking questions about websites and what was okay to do on websites and what if we redirect them from this website to this website or whatever. And she was like, the biggest thing is that you need to make sure that you say that you're an independent distributor of Senegence. Don't be, basically they don't want you to be claiming to be Senegence. They don't want it to look like you're trying to be Senegence or you're trying to be Lipsense. So I think the bigger issue is when you're using their logos on that than anything else. If you're doing it as a brand, like my brand is the Everlasting Lip, and you know there's bottles and pictures of Lipsense in there, yes, but I'm not like using their logo and making my own graphics with that. Does that make sense? Okay, so I will check more on that and see if I can find anything else on that, and if Alicia is on here, she can clarify too, but that's my understanding is more about like when you're manipulating their intelligent and creative not merchandise, what's the word I'm looking for? I've had people do it to me before. Property. You know, like it's their property. They've designed those logos. So they don't want you stretching and pulling the logos or laying it on top of an image of, say, a naked person or whatever. Like they just want to make sure that it's really, that's the biggest thing, is they want to make sure that it's appropriate, that you don't have anything, you know, foul on there, that you're not misrepresenting their company. But if you're mostly focused on your brand, and that's what I try to do anyways, I try to do my materials focused on, you know, the Everlasting Lip or Beauty by Cassie, which is kind of my makeover brand right now that I'm working on, then, you know, I use pictures, like I said, that use Lipsense, and you can also use pictures provided from them in the back office that they have approved, and just drag and drop those and put those into, and use those images into your brochures or to your banners or whatever. But my banners don't even have the Lipsense logo on them, and I don't think my postcards do either. Well, it's got the in this graphic it does, but that's on an image that I think has been approved by them. So things like that, like, again, the biggest concern is if you're doing something that they wouldn't like to see their information with. So just make sure that you're keeping it nice and clean and you're good. We are going to get into the actual cells and demo now. Who's ready? Who's ready? I've been chanting and running long enough. So let's do this. So the idea is for everybody to kind of understand how what the give and take is between the customer and the person demoing the product. So I wanted to kind of do some little bit of role play. Nikki, are you on? Are you willing to do some role play with me first? I wanted to do it with a couple people that have demoed several times. Nancy, it looks like Nancy's on. I know Nancy's demoed several times. Brittany is on, and Brittany has demoed. Somebody volunteer for me. Who's willing to volunteer? Put in the comments if you're willing to go back and forth with me. I can be the customer, and you can be the Lipsense representative, or vice versa. We can do it either way. But I just kind of want people to see kind of some of how the give and take relationship happens, to be able to hear and see it and feel good about how they would respond. Because that, I think, is the biggest thing for people when they work events with me, is like hearing me talk to the customers, and they're like, okay, I feel so much better now. Like, I just needed to hear it. So I wanted to kind of pretend like we were doing that right now. And then if anybody wants to practice, we can do some role play practice too. But first, I want to do it with people who have experience with the shows, with beauty demos. Nobody's responding that they want to help me. Can you guys not hear me? Sorry, I have to drink my energy drink. I don't see anybody responding. Am I like, did I lose everybody? Let me see if I can just pull somebody in. I'm just going to randomly pull somebody that I know is good at this. Well, I think they have to say yes. They have to agree. Let's try Nancy. I talked to Nancy about this earlier today. Let's see if she's willing. Invite. No answer from live video guest. See, something's wrong. I think I've hit a snafu. All right, I'm going to close this out, and we'll just make this one about what to have at the events, and I'm going to go into a new one in case any of you guys can still hear me, and that's going to be just the interactive role play. So watch for that.